Hello. Just coming here today again to talk to you a little bit about another subject that's pretty prevalent in the news right now, and it's the buzz over the United States of America's news media and social networking and everything else. Uh, the subject of the president in masks, like the face mask, but also in general, just the idea that the subject of the mask itself, the face mask that everybody's in Washington and in other places, other government institutions are pushing on us so hard, and of course the news media, 90% of the news media is pushing it as well. The idea that masks are something important that we have to wear in order to keep COVID from spreading. Um, just yesterday or the day before yesterday, the president and his wife are both diagnosed with COVID, and of course the media and the Biden campaign and all these other groups decided to seize upon this. Some of them are a little nice about it. They were kind of covering up the fact that they were really happy that this happened. But you could tell they kind of were. But other people weren't covering it at all. Some people actually said they hope he dies from it. That's reprehensible. But I guess coming from the same people who are destroying this nation, I guess I can understand their sentiments about that. I mean, these people literally equate the name Donald Trump with hatred and racism and bigotry, even though Donald Trump himself has been very active in making sure that that it's known that these things are not true about him, that he's not racist or bigoted or any of those other things, hateful, anything like that. But the people, the buzz, even amongst a lot of the Republicans, a lot of conservatives, is like, he should have been more wise. He should have been wearing his mask, and why wasn't he wearing the mask and this kind of thing. And of course now every time you turn on a television or YouTube or anything else, there's every 5 minutes there's a commercial about how important it is to wear the mask. So let's just break this down, just kind of talk about this and think about this for a minute. Look at me. Okay, I have been wearing a mask at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for the last, I don't know, 4 to 6 months, maybe something like that. 4 months, 6 months. I've had colds twice. As a matter of fact, I actually have a cold now. I wear the mask. Nobody's passed me the COVID. I've never gotten COVID, but a lot of the people where I work have, and they all wear masks too. So some people with masks catch COVID. Some people with masks don't. And I don't think there's any science out there yet that tells us really that masks do anything other than potentially slow a little bit of the spread of it down by keeping people from spitting on each other. But the disease itself can pass through the weave of 99% of the mask without any problem at all. Face shields are actually better, but the scientists in the medical field, will tell you that the face shields are actually not as effective as a mask, which to me is absurd, because a face shield is basically a big piece of plastic that's surrounding your face that nothing can go through. I mean, a virus can't pass through plastic. Plastic is not quite as dense as steel, but it's dense enough that there's not a virus that can pass through it. Air can't pass through it. Water can't pass through plastic. So how could a virus? And they'll tell you that the mask is necessary. The face shield you can see through, you can breathe in it, you have peripheral vision. Your blood pressure is not going up because of the tightness. Your ears aren't being damaged because of the strings. But they say, no, it's got to be a mask. The mask is the most important thing. So here's the thing about Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't wear a mask that often. I've seen him wear one a few times. He doesn't wear one that often. I don't know if his wife did or didn't, but he's surrounded by people who wear masks all the time, everywhere he goes. His staff wears masks. His people in the White House wear masks. I think I don't remember if they're allowing tours of the White House right now, but if they are, I can almost guarantee you'll have to wear a mask when you go in there. So Donald Trump is surrounded by people wearing masks. He wears masks sometimes, but yet he and his wife still got it. So if masks are there to protect other people from catching COVID, and he's surrounded by people with masks, then how did he get it? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that the mask is a hit and miss, if at best. Masks are not the end all of hope for people who are trying to avoid getting COVID. COVID is a disease. It's a virus. Viruses are microscopic. You're not going to stop them with a mask. You may not even completely stop them with a face shield. At least you'd have a better chance, I think, than a mask. But it's hit and miss. It's not certain. Yet, if you listen to the official party line from the government, from the left wing media and everything else, masks are the only thing that will save us. It's our great white hope, so to speak. And it's funny how selective these masks are, and how selective this virus is, regardless of whether or not you have a mask on, because you can have 40,000 people gathered shouting Black Lives Matter and burning down cars and burning down buildings and beating people up in the street and stopping people driving through town, going to the hospital in their cars and everything. You can have thousands of people doing this, some with masks, some without, and that's completely safe. But you got to close down churches and gyms and restaurants and completely cripple our economy because you're afraid somebody might go into one of those places and catch COVID. The COVID virus seems to be very selective. It loves anti-government rallies, but it hates church. Sounds a little too selective to me, wouldn't you think? You can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can do whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to about me. But there's just some things that just don't add up about the whole mask thing. And if you look at who's pushing the masks, it ought to tell you something. People who are pushing the masks are the same people who are pushing government control. They're pushing government ruling over us rather than just leading us. They're pushing, Biden, I think, at one point says if he won the election, he was going to force the entire country to go on a shutdown and or wear masks, either of which could be detrimental to a lot of people's health. And if you shut down the businesses in America, that's going to destroy our economy. So how this benefits the left, I'm not quite sure. I guess it just means that they'll have some kind of control over us, that they want some kind of power that they can use to do something with. But look at who's pushing the mask, and look at who's saying, let everybody have their freedom of choice. It's the same people that are pushing government control, same people who are pushing for socialized medicine and socialized everything else, and people who are teaching our children in schools all kinds of stuff about alternate sexual practices and everything else. These are the same people who are pushing the masks, whereas the other side is saying, yes, it's probably not a bad idea to wear a mask in certain situations, but if you can or you don't want to, just make that choice for yourself. And if people are uncomfortable being around you, they can stay away from you. It's that simple. I don't understand why this is such a hard concept for people to figure out. Like I said, in the last 6 months, I've had 2 colds. I had one that ended about a week ago and one that has started today. I wear a mask all the time. I'm almost never close enough to people to catch any kind of diseases. I maintain the safe distance and the 6 feet and all that stuff as much as possible. And wherever I'm required to wear a mask, if I go into a private business that requires me to wear a mask, I always do it. I always do the 6 foot distance, the social distance, and I've done all that kind of stuff in public life since this whole thing began, and yet I've had colds twice. I haven't had COVID yet, but I'm sure it's probably around the corner. But then I know some people who don't adhere to the mask or the 6 foot rule at all, and they've had nothing. They've given nobody any diseases, and they've gotten no diseases themselves. So the mask issue is really kind of it's vague, it's undefined. The mask is not going to save you most likely from anything, and it's not going to really keep anybody else from being sick. And to say that the president shouldn't be elected because he's been anti-mask is really not fair, because he hasn't been anti-mask. He's just been anti-government control over what you can do with your life and with your face and with because a lot of people can't wear masks. Some people have breathing problems and they can't wear them, and they still have to go out. They still have to do things. They still have to work and whatever, but they can't wear them because they're just, they have asthma or COPD or whatever it might be. So the president has not been really anti-mask. He's been anti-government control. And so that's the real issue. The real issue at the bottom of all things is not masks. It's not 6 foot distance, social distancing. It's control. The left wants to control us. The right wants us to control our own destinies and our own lives, and to make our own decisions for ourselves, and to think for ourselves. That's the big difference. Okay, so just think about this. When next time if you're a person on the left and you think about Donald Trump and he's got COVID and you want to laugh at him and you want to say, oh, I hope he dies or whatever, just remember he was surrounded by people wearing masks and yet he still has it. So it's not. The mask is kind of a non-issue really. It's being made into a big issue by people who think that they can use that as a fear tactic to control people, but it's really a non-issue. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It's up to you. It's your choice. If I'm worried about you and I see you without a mask on and I'm worried that you might give me something, I'll just keep my distance. I'll smile and say, have a good day, or how you doing? And I'll walk away. I won't get close enough to you where you can give me something. And if I'm not uncomfortable around you, if I feel like you're safe, then I'll make that choice for myself. It should be my choice. It shouldn't be the government's choice. Joe Biden is not God. Neither is Trump. They don't have the right to tell us what we can and can't put on our faces. That's just, and it's funny to me. Another thing, just in closing here, it's funny to me that a lot of the people who are 100% for government control over what you can and can't wear are the same people that are saying my body, my choice when it comes to abortion. It's like they don't want us to control their bodies at all, unless they force everyone to wear a mask in the country. That's fine. It's okay to do that. But hey, murder your baby, that's your choice. It's up to you. So, there's a lot of hypocrisy going on right now in our society. So just some things to think about. All right, bye.